So I'm just back from Purbeck, cycled all the way around the island. Didn't do as many miles as we hoped, but we did camp for 2 nights and saw some amazing stuff. Perfect Easter weekend jolly. So today, instead of doing a packing video and showing you how to pack, I thought it would be kind of interesting to see the end result and the mess things get into after a few days of camping and bike packing. So I'm just going to go through how the bike was loaded, all the kit I used. I cheekily left behind a couple of things, for example waterproof jacket that folds up, sort of small but not that small, and replaced that with a book, for example, because it was so warm. Forecast said it wasn't going to rain, took a chance. So let's have a look and see what is left in the packs after a full weekend of riding, and what state it's in. So, one-handed opening of this thing, it's not easy. Very secure zip. I really like the Ortlev bag, it's nice. So in here, got a couple of these straps. Bought them down in Swanage, Charlie the bike monger. Only needed to use 2 of them on the go, so I chucked the others in there with all the packaging and bits and pieces. Some packets of forage, just oats for cooking on the stove. Pretty good for breakfast. My luxury silly item is a book. I would have had to forego that for the waterproof jacket maybe. Spare pair of dry socks, some munchnables, lots of cable ties and things. I've got my mini pump here. Fortunately didn't have to use that. Puncture repair kit. Swiss Army knife, did use this. This was very handy. A little worse for wear first aid bag. Probably need to check exactly what's in there because I'm sure there's more than I actually need. Only need a few bits and bobs and plasters. We've got cable tie and a toothbrush, a little mini one, courtesy of British Airways. We'll find the rest of that. Spork, lip balm, which actually I think was in that top bag, and chain tool, which also fortunately didn't need to use, but always worth carrying. Coffee and a mini British Airways toothpaste, which won't last much longer, I think. And that's about it for the frame pack. You do sacrifice your water bottle cages, but I've got some water carrying here on the bottom cage, and then I've wedged in spare tubes, and these are my tent poles in a little custom bag that I made to go with all these. It's all the same fabric. The cockpit, it's got a few things, sunglasses and snacks and bits and bobs, and I'll keep the GoPro in here for most of the time so it's easy to grab, and a water bottle as well, and that just change round as you go in. This is a bit more important, cockpit bag, gas tank bag, however you want to call it. Some arm warmers, somehow got some thread on them. Got phone charger, got a spare phone. I'm lucky enough to have a work phone as well, so I could just use that as a backup to record Strava and not take all the battery up on my phone I was using to navigate with, which was on the quad lock. Had an iPod, actually didn't even use it at all because I was with Josh, didn't want to be antisocial. Got a little tool, multi-tool, and headphones, and various other bits and bobs and snacks and wallets and things that were in there at the time. So that's pretty much that. Keeps that all nice and tidy, easy accessible, and means you can grab it all if you're going to leave the bike for a moment to nip into a shop. So next up, front pannier rolls. These are homemade, just from a pair of I can't do this one-handed. Just from a pair of waterproof trousers. So in here I ended up stuffing all sorts of things, just a spare pair of shorts, cycling shorts. This is where my swimming trunks ended up on the last day, because they were actually dry. Didn't swim the day before, or swam the day before. This, need to loosen the buckles to get out the rest of it. Sleeping roll, Everlight, is it Thermarest Evolite sleeping roll. Compresses quite small and takes up about half of that bag, and leaves on top and underneath for some thermal sleepers. I bought those in America, and eye mask, and different things. Extra pair of socks again, different things for sleeping. So fair bit of room in there, but you don't want to pack it too much, because you don't want too much bulk. So this is a Vango Nix 200 tent, I think. That's it, rolled up, needs to dry out. That's the inner and the outer all rolled up and compressed into this bag. I think it costs about 50 quid in Bertels at the moment. It does weigh about 1.5 kilos if you strip it down to just this skin and the tent poles, which I've put in here, not in the supplied bag. You shed all the other bits and bobs and you keep about 10 pegs and the poles, then it is about as light as you can get for not very much money at all. Here's the Ortleb bag. Unfortunately, just before I set off, this buckle broke. It's still holding now on one side, but I just took off the cable tie that was holding it together for the ride, because that would not last the trip. So I'm going to have to sort out if I can get a replacement from Ortleb for that. Saddle bag, handy for drying off things. I usually have my swimming trunks in here. Here's the broken buckle, that, and my life fixed on the back. So, had a compression sack with a hoodie, a pair of warm trousers in, or just hiking trousers, zip-off ones. Inside here, we also had a microfiber towel, a little bit damp, that needs drying off, and the rest was taken up by my not all that well compressed sleeping bag, rab down sleeping bag, stretch out again and dry off.